Hey everybody, welcome to SaltyOldGamer, where we're on an airsoft journey and we're sharing everything we learn along the way. Today we're talking about some common mistakes that we see people making repeatedly in outdoor skirmish play, and they're worth talking about again. Are you making these mistakes? Stay tuned to find out. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're talking about common mistakes that people make in outdoor skirmish play. So you can really look at this two different ways. You can look at it as common mistakes people are making, or you can look at it as helpful tips to make you have a better outdoor experience. But first, I want to thank our special guest today, Stuffy Nose and Baggy Eyes, brought to you by Winter Cold and special sponsor, Sleepless Nights. So nasally dialogue aside, let's jump into the conversation. Maybe you're new to Airsoft, or maybe you're just primarily an indoor CQB player, but in either case, these are just basic tips that make a big difference, and we see people not doing them all the time. And some of these seem like common sense logic, but maybe not so much. First and foremost, if you're gonna play outdoors, you need ankle support. The first time I ever played in tennis shoes, I couldn't count how many times I turned an ankle or almost turned an ankle, and I knew the next purchase I was gonna make was a good pair of boots. And I'm shocked at how many people are out running around in the woods in tennis shoes. You're walking up hills, you're stepping in holes, you're walking in mud and water and tripping on roots, and you need good ankle support or you could end up really injuring yourself. And not only does that end a nice day of airsoft play, if you really turn it bad, you could end your mobility in daily life for quite a few weeks. The number one injury in airsoft is sprained ankles.
Hold up. Time out. I'm not actually dead. You might be better off going the other way, bud.
Than I thought it was. That's so deep.
Believe it or not, you're the second person I've helped out of there.
Really?
Now you don't have to spend a lot for this one. You know, Merrells and Solomons are kind of the pinnacle that everybody brags about having, which are really expensive, but you don't have to go that route. And in a lot of cases, they're not even as good as a good pair of hiking boots or tactical boots because they're not water resistant. I personally just wear a pair of $55 Hi-Tecs and they do awesome. I can walk straight through mud, through water. I don't have to worry about it at all. And I've got a teammate that wears a $35 pair of hiking boots and they're just as good as well. What's important is they fit right and they're comfortable and they don't wear and tear on your feet throughout the day of gameplay. Now in CQB, you can wear whatever you want. In fact, you should wear whatever you want. You should wear probably tennis shoes and be comfortable. And number two is if you're playing skirmishes outdoors and you're in thickly wooded areas, I mean, wear camo, guys. I mean, seriously, it does matter, believe it or not. You know, smaller, fast play fields, maybe not so much, but when you're in dense foliage, it definitely matters if you're wearing camo or not, because the easier someone's eye can pass over you when you're not moving, the better experience you're gonna have. And as you can see here, camo definitely matters. And in fact, you don't even have to wear military spec camo. I've gone out and played before in some tree leaf pattern that I bought at your local superstore for $15. And it works absolutely great. If you're out in the woods and you're wearing camo that looks like the woods, literally, people's eyes are gonna scan right past you if you're not moving. And one additional note on this, I'm sure I'm showing my age and ignorance on this one, but there seems to be a fad going on right now of the solid brown pants and a solid black shirt. I don't know what's driving this fad, but I see at least half a dozen people wearing solid brown pants and a solid black short sleeve or long sleeve shirt every week we play. I really don't know why. If you're playing in the woods, stop wearing black. I mean, black is not a naturally occurring color and you stick out like a sore thumb. Seriously. Now I'll caveat all this by saying you should have a good time playing Airsoft, wearing whatever you want to wear. But if you want to have a better experience and you're getting serious about it, maybe take these things into consideration. And thirdly, use midcaps. There is some stealth associated with playing skirmishes outdoors in the woods, and nothing sucks more than quietly working your way up to an occupied structure and being given away to everyone inside of it because they hear this as you're approaching. Just don't do it. It is such a telltale sign, and it carries vast differences that defy the imagination. You can hear someone running like 200 yards away. I swear I can hear somebody running. You know, echolocation. There he is right there. And additionally, midcaps just perform better. You're compressing the spring as you're loading the BBs into them so that you don't have to wind them up. They're always under compression. They're far less prone to misfeed, and they're quiet. Now, to be fair, you will hear in a lot of my videos that telltale sign. I still carry high caps, but I'm old and stuck in my ways, and I shoot a tremendous amount of BBs every week, and I go through a lot of magazines, and if I used mid caps, I'd have to carry like 10 of them every game. But you know, I don't move quite like I used to anymore. It's no more rushing for me. It's more of a steady advance. So high caps work for me. But if you're agile and you're moving across the field at speed, or you're trying to sneak up on somebody, you definitely don't want that telltale shake of BBs giving you away. Trust me. Now, this one may not be quite as within your control as the others, but if you play a lot of CQB, then you may be shooting at a much lower FPS than what's allowed in outdoor fields. You may be shooting right around that 300 mark, 300, 310, up to like 330-ish to stay under the 350 limit at most indoor fields. But if you have the luxury of running multiple guns that are set up separately with different FPS limits for different types of play, then that's awesome. Go for it. But you know, if you've got one primary gun, or just one that's your real favorite that you want to use in all situations, you might consider a spring change. Now, if you can't, that's fine too. You can go out there with a CQB gun with a lower FPS and you can still have a fantastic time. It may change a little bit how you play and approach people, but you know, you get out of it what you put into it. And lastly, physical fitness, guys. I mean, seriously, if you're playing outdoors, especially on large scale fields with lots of hills and gullies, and you're crossing long distances, you're hiking. I mean, you're hiking, and sometimes you're crossing vast distances at a fast pace, even a sprint. And the more physically fit you are, the longer you're going to be able to play, the more fun you're going to have. Now, you know, if you're a big guy like me, you know, it's not something that you can snap your fingers and be, you know, back to your prime physical fitness, but it's something that you should work on during the week. You know, get on the treadmill, go for a walk, go play some basketball, go play some sports, do whatever it is that gets you off your butt and moving so that you're more physically fit when the weekend rolls around. Because just going out and playing on the weekend, that's not enough.
Tango down.
Who puts the respawn at the top of a giant hill? It's like forced cardio. It's like running track in high school and running hills all over again. I'm so out of shape. It's not even funny. Whew. The hills are just nasty. Oh,
Before we go, let me leave you with one additional tip. This is certainly not a mistake that anybody's making, but it's really more of a personal preference and suggestion for a better experience in your outdoor play. If you're playing skirmishes or milsim on outdoor fields, and especially if it's a large property and you're spending a lot of time in individual games, then definitely go out and get yourself a sling. Now hold up one second, let me make one thing perfectly clear. I am not military trained. If I want to know about guns and gear, I've got a few go-to places, and that is T-Rex Arms, Grand Thumb, and Warrior Poet Society. If there is anything you want to know about guns and gear, or how to select, set up, and use those guns and gear, you're going to find it in these three places. And if I give any advice on guns and gear, it is purely from personal experiences and opinion on what works for airsoft. You can get these absolutely anywhere. You can get them at EVIC, Airsoft GI, Airsoft Station, Airsoft Megastore, Modern Airsoft, even on Amazon, and you're not going to pay more than about 20 bucks for a pretty decent one. It's going to save you a lot of headache. Because when you're out there and gameplay ends and you've got to hike a mile back to refill and rehydrate, you don't want to be marching along carrying your gun going, man, I wish I had somewhere I could put this down. You know, if you got a sling, just put it right down. And it's a two-part suggestion. And the second part is, again, just my personal preference, go to a 2-point sling, because there's a lot of slings out there you can get. Everybody loves to do the impressionism and the popularity of the single-point sling. A lot of people have the Y sling that secures over your shoulders and the back so that the weight is distributed, and that's fantastic. And I did a 1-point sling out there, and you can actually get 2-point slings on the internet that have these little holes where you can convert it to a 1-point sling, and you know, you can use it any way you want. And I actually used the 1-point sling that drops in the middle for quite a while. And the problem with it is every time you drop that gun, it smacks you right in the dick. And that's not all. You know, when I decided to go to a 2-point sling, I just have my gun attached at the sling mount at the end of the buffer tube, and I actually got a Picatinny attachment sling mount that I put right at the start of this rail. And you can still arrange it to where you've got plenty of leeway that you can still switch shoulders and do everything you need to do. And the reason why I did this, well, number one, because I got really tired of getting hit in the dick every time I dropped the gun. But number two is, If I want to walk a long distance, or if I need to cross some distances fast, or if I just want to go to my sidearm, when I sling this away, I want it to sling away. I want it to be out of the way in a comfortable position at my side, so that when I go to my sidearm, I'm free and clear. All of this right here in front of me is free and clear to do whatever I want. Comfortable position, can walk for a mile, and it would never bother me. But once again, personal preference. So hey, again, maybe mistakes is the wrong word for this, because it seems like common knowledge. And honestly, you can go out and you can play airsoft in a t-shirt, jeans, and tennis shoes and have fun all day long. But if you want to have a better outdoor experience, then maybe consider some of these things. But hey, we really appreciate you liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel, join us on our airsoft journey, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss a single video that we put out every Tuesdays and bonus videos on Fridays. And you know what? If anybody has a line on the whole brown pants and black shirt thing, definitely key me in. You know, give this salty old gamer a clue. Embarrass me if you need to. What is driving the brown pants and black shirt fad? I need to know, seriously. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next time.